Hello and welcome to an OC Children's Screening Registry training. In this video, we will be talking about reports. So the registry gives you the option to run multiple types of reports for your organization or practice within the registry. So we'll take a look at a couple of those different options, how to find the different reports that are available, and also who can run these reports. Okay, so first and foremost, any user of the registry can be given access to reports. You will only be able to run reports for programs or agencies that you are assigned to. However, any user can get this access. It happens when I approve the accounts. It's a click of a button for me to be able to grant any user access to running reports. So you will be asked at the time of onboarding what users within your organization or practice you would like to have this access. And then anyone that has it will see on the left-hand side, as indicated here on their navigation bar, the reports option. So if you click there, you'll see this report homepage. And if you click on any of these links, it will generate a report. So I'll take you through a couple of different examples so you can see what the format and filters of a report are. You will also be given some supplemental material with your onboarding process, and one of those things is a reports definitions page that will take you through specifics of what each of these reports are, but in the registry, they will all be available to you regardless of which tools you actually use. So if you're taking a quick glance at this list, you'll see that some of the reports are tool specific. So for example, if your practice or organization doesn't do ASQ SEs or ASQ3s or MCHATs, PEDS, or PEARLs, just ignore those because you will still see them there, and you may just kind of your own personal list will shorten as you see what reports are most useful to you. We'll go ahead and click on any of these to report it. And to be a little bit more expansive on this, reports can be generated at an organization level or at a program level for a specific organization. So what this means is, I'll show you in the filters in just a moment, but if you have an organization that has multiple programs underneath it, you'll be able to run reports for your organization as a whole, so incorporating all of the programs, or you can filter out specific programs if you want to run reports just for those specific numbers. So I'll show you how you can do that. This first example is going to be an aggregate of all screening tools. So you'll see a few different options for filters there. Again, the organization and program are there. If you're assigned to more than one organization within the registry that you've signed on for, then you'll have multiple choices there. But most likely your organization will be auto-populated because you may only have access to one. This is just a blank example for you. And then again, if you have multiple programs within your organization, you can choose which one you'd like to filter for, or you can leave that program drop down blank so that it can incorporate all of them. You can also filter by the date of screening, the age of a child in years or age in months. You can also filter by the child's sex, the caregiver's language, a zip code, a city, or a county. You can use as many or as little of these filters as you'd like. And you'll notice that some of the reports have an option at the bottom to calculate a total number of screening or a unique count. Some reports won't have this. It'll make sense why some do and some don't, but those will also be specified in the reports definitions handout that you should have access to. So you may see that there, you may not, just depending on the report. I just wanted to show you both options here in this general example. So once you've chosen the filters you want, you go ahead and run a report. So in this example, you can see the organization is Help Me Grow, the program is developmental screening. I entered a range there, some ages, a language, and wanted a total. So at the bottom, what it's given me now is an aggregate of all screening tools, since that's the name of the report, and then it'll specify which filters I've chosen, so those will be there for me. And then because there's only one program, I'll see the name of that program here. If there are multiple ones, then this list, this report would be a little bit taller. But you'll see a unique child count, the different tools broken up here, all the way from ASQ3 to the 3 Pearls tools, and then a total at the bottom. So you'll see a total there as well, and it'll be broken up that way. If you want to export this report, you have the option at the bottom to do so in a PDF or in an image. Another example I'll show you is an ASQ3 aggregate by lowest results in any one domain. So again, the filter options are at the top. For this example, you'll see for an ASQ3 the different score result options above cutoff, monitoring, or below cutoff, and it'll show us the total number of screenings that fall into each of those result types, as well as the total unique children. And again, I can export that. This is a different type of ASQ3 report. It's called ASQ3 results by domain. So here you can see that the report is broken down into the 5 different domains of development within the ASQ3, and then you see the score result as either being above monitoring or below, and how many screenings, how many total unique children fall into that score. This is really great for, multiple uses, but one of the uses that comes to mind for me is, say there's an organization that is a preschool provider or a provider that works directly with the young children that they're serving. They can maybe look at this report to see where most of their children are scoring within, again, a certain program or their organization as a whole. Maybe determine curriculum, like if a lot of the scores for gross motor are below cutoff, you can start incorporating some more gross motor activities into your children's day at your program, and that can be exported. Here's an example of one of the Pearls tools. So you have the option of running Pearls results specifically per tool. So for this example, it's the Pearls Child 0 to 11 parent caregiver results. So you can run that specific report and see where the scores were. So the variation between there being a low risk score of 0, a high risk score of 4 or more, or anything in between with the clinical assessment options as intermediate, high risk, or not applicable. You can run this for the teen variations as well. And then there's also an aggregate, so you can look at all the Pearls tools as a whole. There's an aggregate for actually all of these. So if you wanted to look at all of your tools, incorporating all of the developmental tools and this Pearls tool, you can look at that. If you want to just look at the developmental tools, you can. If you want to just look at the Pearls tools as a whole, you can. So again, those definitions should help understand what those different links will do, but feel free to also play around in there. Another example of a report that I want to highlight is this outcomes on referrals to help me grow. So let's say, you're referring to us a lot and you want to know, rather than looking individually at, what are these outcomes, is help me grow, able to connect the families that I send their way. You can look at this as a whole in the report section rather than individually by child. So you can run the report here, again, choosing as many filters as you'd like. This is an example from our demo site, so we don't have any numbers to show you here since those aren't live referrals that we can populate back in. But here's an example what the layout will look like. So the different outcome options are there: connected, pending services, not connected, or unknown. And then you can see that breakdown per tool based on referrals that you made for those tools, and then a total at the far right. And then again, this can be exported to a PDF or an image. Another report that I want to highlight really quickly is a screening results by child. So you can run this, again, all these reports can be ran at an organizational level or a specific program level with any filters you'd like, but this will spew out a comprehensive list of all the children that have been screened within that organization or program, and it will tell you all of the screening results that you've done. So again, these reports are specific to your organization and program. It won't show you this child's summary page as a whole, including other entries made by other users. These are specific to your entries. So you can see that it'll start with a list of the child's name, a date of birth, the screening tool, the date, the interval, the results. If they were referred to Help Me Grow, the date that happened, the status, and then those outcomes. Again, this is from our demo site, so a lot of this isn't populated back in. However, you can see the example of the information that would populate there. So this report can be fairly long depending on how many children you have in your organization or program that you've screened, but you will still be able to export that. I also want to point out here that this report will highlight in purple any results that indicate a concern. This looks really similar to looking at a child's individual homepage in the OC Children's Screening Registry, where it highlights those at-risk entries in purple, and that will also happen in this report, so you can see at a glance for a specific child how many were at risk or not at risk, so that you don't have to interpret each line. So again, this report can be very long, but you'll see that option to export at the bottom. Thank you so much for your time and attention during this reports training video. As always, if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact the information on your screen. And also feel free to please refer to the reports definitions handout that you should have access to. If you don't, feel free to reach out for that document.